There's a familiar heaviness when you first open your eyes, as if a ghost has chosen to sleep beside you. The bed is empty, but your chest is crowded. Memories play like scenes projected on the ceiling. Their laugh in your kitchen, the warmth of their palm in yours, the way they tilted their head when deep in thought. You feel them even in their absence, and you wonder how you're supposed to live with a ghost you invited in but cannot ask to leave. The ache is both sharp and dull, a paradox that keeps you awake at night. Deep down, you suspect that detaching isn't a clean break, but a slow unraveling of threads you never meant to knot so tightly. You don't know where to begin, only that this weight isn't sustainable. You're on a crowded street, bodies brushing past, car horns stuttering, vendors calling. Yet you feel like you're walking through their memory. Every cafe window reflects a version of you from when you were together. Every song leaking from a passing car becomes an anthem of days you're trying to forget. It's as if the world has become a scrapbook that won't let you turn the page. You keep thinking one more block will distance you from the scent of their skin or the sound of their voice. Instead, each corner you round carries another echo. You try to lose yourself in the crowd, but there they are, not in person, but in the way your mind fills the space between strangers with their silhouette. Detachment feels like running in a dream. Legs heavy, progress sluggish, the same scenery looping endlessly. There's a moment late at night when you stare at your phone, waiting for a message that won't arrive. You tell yourself you're just checking the time, but your heart is scanning for their name. The screen lights up with notifications that mean nothing to you. Each vibration raises your pulse, and each disappointment drops it again. You know that reaching for your phone is reaching back into a past that no longer exists, but the compulsion remains. In the dim glow, you catch your own reflection and see someone suspended between hope and resignation. You want to let go, but your fingers hover over their thread of conversation, tempted to send one more message. You imagine what silence feels like without the possibility of their reply, and it terrifies you. The thought that peace might be on the other side of that silence is distant, nearly ungraspable. You stand at the sink, washing the last plate they ever ate from in your apartment. The water runs clear, the soap bubbles glimmer, and yet your mind supplies the memory of them reaching over to dry it for you, humming under their breath. You dry it yourself this time, hand steady but heart trembling. Detaching is not dramatic, it's mundane. It's in the moments when you choose to remove a toothbrush from your cup, to delete a photo you've scrolled past 100 times without pressing the trash icon, to change the playlist you fall asleep to, because you no longer want their voice in the background of your dreams. Each small act of tidying feels like pulling on a loose thread in a sweater. You know the fabric will distort, but you cannot stand the snag. The first time you realize that you haven't thought about them for an entire hour, it surprises you, not because the hour was busy, but because it was ordinary. You were folding laundry, a sock tucked into its partner, and you hadn't imagined their hands doing it. Detachment is like that, not an event, but a series of tiny freedoms accumulating. It's the way you leave the house without checking whether they've texted. It's reaching the top of the stairs and pausing to notice how quiet your mind can be. You start to hear your own inner voice again, the one that has been drowned out by the chorus of shared jokes and shared plans. The voice is tentative at first, as if emerging from a long winter. There is grief in detachment. You sit at the table where you used to share meals and feel the emptiness like a space carved out. For a while, you might fill it with distractions, with friends, with new experiences. Eventually, you sit with that emptiness and listen. It tells you stories of the version of you that existed before you met them. It reminds you of passions you set aside to make room for someone else's dreams. It whispers about curiosity you postponed, adventures you delayed. In the stillness, you begin to pick up those threads. You sign up for the pottery class you always talked yourself out of, not to fill the void, but to honor the part of you that loves clay under your fingernails. You drive to the coast alone and watch the waves crash, realizing that you can witness beauty without needing to share it to validate it. You will inevitably encounter moments when detachment feels like betrayal. A song comes on that you both loved, and you reach to skip it, then hesitate. You're afraid to lose them completely. You're afraid that if you stop feeling the pain, you will stop feeling altogether. But detachment is not the denial of what was. It is the acceptance that what was is no longer what is. You can keep the lessons, the affection, the growth, without keeping the grip. You can allow the memory to exist without allowing it to control your present. When guilt surfaces, examine it. Whose rules are you following that say healing is betrayal? As time passes, you notice that certain triggers no longer ignite you. You walk past the park bench where you once sat and planned vacations and feel a wave of nostalgia instead of a riptide pulling you under. Nostalgia is safe when you know how to swim back to shore. You might still think of them when you smell rain on asphalt, but the thought will be a soft ache rather than a sharp stab. You will find yourself caring about how they are without needing to reach out. You might wish them well in a silent prayer that is more about your peace than their life. This is detachment's quiet victory, the ability to love someone from afar without leaning out of your own life to meet them. One day, you will lie in bed and feel the ghost leave. It will be subtle, like a change in air pressure. You might not even notice until the next morning when you wake up and immediately think of something else. A dream you had, the smell of coffee, the list of tasks for the day. You will realize that your heart feels lighter, not because someone else has occupied it, but because you have reclaimed the space. The bed will simply be a bed. The street will simply be a street. Your phone will simply be a tool. You will carry the memory of them like a photograph tucked away, to be looked at when you choose, not shoved in your face at every turn. Detachment will have become your default, not through force or denial, but through countless small acts of returning to yourself. The ghost will thank you in its own way for letting it go.